Hey guys, Gunbuff here. I have a brand new 2015 Kel-Tec PMR-30 here with me today. It's brand new into the shop today. We finally got our shipment from Kel-Tec. So, you get the hard case, you get the little trigger lock, you get the brochure, pamphlet instructions. Looks like you get one pistol, chamber flag right here, and a spare mag. So 2 mags total for this guy. So before we forget, nothing in the chamber, nothing in the mag or the gun, okay? So what do I think about these PMR-30s? I think they're pretty daggone light. They would make an excellent backpack or a excellent survival cabin, boat, backpacking, bug out bag type of weapon. Let's see exactly how light it is. Ooh, 13.8 ounces unloaded. That's pretty impressive. Even with the magazine, we're probably talking not much more. I mean, that mag is pretty lightweight. 1.6 ounces unloaded. That's extraordinarily light. 30 rounds of any caliber is pretty cool. So I could definitely see this as perhaps a besides a fun plinker. I think perhaps this could be a really good choice for self-defense in the right scenario. I think really as a backpacking gun, or a cabin, boat, bug out kind of gun. You know, it was brought to my attention a few months back that some people who don't train very much, particularly women, don't practice mag changes very well. And so this could be a gun that they could actually use because after all, 30 rounds, they shouldn't be having to change mags very much. Unless there's a malfunction of some type. So one thing that you should know is that this gun is mostly polymer, obviously. Almost all of its weight is up front. Even fully loaded, it's not very heavy. There are two things that you should know about this pistol when you go to break them down. The first is there is a buffer in the recoil spring assembly. And you must have it in there. The temptation is that you might lose it or you might not want to put it back in there, but you really need to. They say that if you don't, that this gun can potentially bash itself internally and cause malfunction. So you gotta have the little plastic buffer. The second thing, when you break it down, you cannot pull the trigger and drop the hammer without the slide assembly on. If you do that, you run the risk of breaking the hammer. So only put it back together and dry fire it. Do not dry fire it without the upper assembly on. The grip is very 1911 like it. I have very small hands, okay? And it feels really good in the hand. For 30 rounds, it feels really good in the hands. I can get all of my hand on and around. So, and it's not exactly 1911 angle, but it's very close. And of course it has the flare like I like on my mainspring housing. So it feels the hand very well. It gives you that nice palm swell that seems to work really good for me. Now some people don't like that, but in my case it's very nice. It has ambidextrous safeties, and it is a sweep down frame mounted safety just like a 1911. So up is safe and down is fire. So there you have it. It has fiber optic red rear sights and fiber optic green front sights. Now the front is replaceable. You can see that there's 2 screws right there and a dovetail. So you can change that guy out. The rear is not swappable. I suppose you could change out the light pipes themselves, although I don't know where you would get those. The trigger pull on these guys, for a rimfire, it's not bad. Recoil is not horrible at all, as you might imagine, even out of a light gun. There is somewhat of a flash issue when you use cheap 22 mag ammo, but really it's nothing that you can't deal with. And if you were going to use this for serious self-defense or serious competition work, Hornady makes critical defense in 22 mag. So I think that it's a decent backpack bug out gun, and you should check it out. You know, these range anywhere from $4.50 to $5.25 on the open market, and it has a last round hold open before I forget. And also, something to keep in mind is it has a European heel release. Okay, so that's what drops the mag. There is no John Browning style thumb release or push button release. It's all in the European heel release. Now, that's actually not bad, because when you come up to do that, it pops it free into your hand, and then you can just drive the next one home. There is a little bit of an issue in the sense that you're used to dropping it and letting gravity with a 1911 or any other modern pistol. But, you know, frankly, this is not a combat gun. Okay, it's really not. I mean, it could be if it was the only gun you had, but it's not a combat weapon. So I think if you carried one spare mag with you, 60 rounds of anything is pretty impressive, particularly for its lightweight. And it's fairly compact. I mean, this gun is pretty small for what you get, 30 rounds of 22 mag. Certainly it would be adequate for self-defense in any type of situation that you might imagine. And certainly you could use it to get a better weapon if you had to in an end-of-the-world scenario. It does have last round hold open, which is, as you guys know, a big pet peeve of mine. You know, without the mag in, you can hear that. You know, it does kind of have a plasticky toy gun feel. So a lot of guys haven't taken this very seriously, but for that boat, cabin, you know, bug out gun, cache weapon, I think this is pretty nifty. You know, definitely whatever you do, read the instructions. How you break this gun down it's not horribly complicated, but it's not as intuitive as a John Browning design either. You can do it, but it has a few extra steps. And there's a few special things you have to do, like you can't dry fire it without the slide on. You will just mess up that hammer, they say. So something to think about. You can find threaded barrels if you want. Of course, you can find spare mags. You can find different front sights and some different colored light pipes in the back, and that's it. There's really nothing else you can change on this gun. Maybe later they'll come out with different types of, you know, safeties and different types of triggers, but for right now, you have the accessory rail, which I forgot to mention earlier, but you do have a full accessory rail, so you can put a light laser on there, and you can change out some sights, but that's about it. It is important to know that just like a 1911, you cannot put this gun on safe unless it's cocked. Look here of the weapon. So there you have it, guys. Not much to it. Pretty plain Jane, but it's nifty. It has a real futuristic look to it. It does kind of have a plastic... kind of a plasticky feel, but you know, it's a Kel-Tec. They're known for their innovation. They sometimes have trouble getting things to market, right? But when they do show up, they're kind of cool. One other note is that these guns tend to be ammo specific. So once you find the ammo that works, you should stick with it. I will tell you this, the cheap Arms Corps ammo from the Philippines is a no-go for this gun. I had lots of stoppages. It just didn't seem to work very well. But on the other flip side, I put some Federal 22 mag and some Hornady Critical Defense, didn't have one stoppage. So this is just one of those guns that you're not going to be able to feed it everything on the market, because after all, most 22 Magnum is designed for a much longer barrel. It's designed for a rifle, and this is not a rifle. So, you know, you have to keep that in mind, that if you get a good deal on 22 mag bulk ammo, then, you know, you might have a few stoppages, but it just gives you the opportunity to practice your weapon manipulation skills. So, I had a lot of questions from people about what the yellow card was in the bottom of the box, and it's actually a list of ammo that they recommend that you use, and then a few that they know that they have trouble with. So there you go. Let's show you the trigger pull on this bad boy here, just so we get some data here. So 5 right on the nose there on the old RCBS trigger scale. Let's do one more time. I always like to do 2 or 3 times. 4.5. We'll do one more. Which should give us a really nice look at what the trigger poundage is. So 4. So it's really hovering right between 4 and 5 pounds. By no means is this a definitive on the trigger, but on average I would say 4.5, maybe 5 pounds. The few times I did it off camera, they were hovering right at 5 pounds. But this is just a really decent trigger. A little bit of, you know, travel right there. Okay, that's just free travel. But then once you're at this point, you know you're pulling, you get resistance, and then you have not very much trigger move at all. So I think it's totally serviceable. And, you know, frankly, for what it is, a rimfire plinker slash survival backpack gun, I really think this is a decent choice. But, you know, the one thing that I didn't mention earlier is that, you know, lots of people have written lots about this gun, and they just talk about the 22 mag as not being a good, you know, man stopper or decent out of this size barrel as a hunting round. But the fact of the matter is that you have 30 rounds, okay? 30 rounds. I mean, my goodness. If you can't hit your target in 30 rounds, you're just not doing something right. And certainly from a self-defense standpoint, you have a lot of leeway there. So I still think this is a decent choice for something as simple as just having a different, nifty, modern design pistol in your safe, or buying it as a working gun and putting it in a backpack, a bug out bag, a cabin, a boat, an RV. This is an all-American made pistol with very manageable recoil, and you get 30 rounds. 30 rounds. Each one of those holes is 5 rounds. That's pretty impressive. That's very impressive. A lot of people call this a poor man's 5.7 because, you know, who can afford the extraordinarily high price of the FN 5.7 pistol? I mean, it's just incredibly expensive. So this does not obviously have the same type of ballistics, but it's close. I mean, that pistol holds 20 rounds. This holds 30 of 22 mag, which is certainly cheaper and easier to come by than the FN round. So I think if you're looking for a fun gun, a unique gun, a different gun, a gun that you can put in your bug out bag, that you can take hiking, camping, that you could stash someplace, I think this is it. I mean, you could hold these 3 items, okay, in your backpack, fully loaded, and I'm sure you would be under 2.5 pounds. And, you know, in a backpack where every ounce counts, that's impressive. So, if you guys get a chance, check out the PMR-30. And as always, thanks for watching. Be safe and be good.